The storm rolled in slow over the Los Angeles hills that night, thick clouds like bruises across the sky. Lightning flashed somewhere over Sunset Boulevard as Camille DeVere adjusted her diamond earring, each sparkle a silent scream for help. To the outside world, Camille had everything. She was the face of luxury skincare brands, with 3 Vogue covers under her belt by 26. Her life played out in filtered perfection on Instagram, champagne in St. Tropez, backstage selfies at Fashion Week, and a billionaire fiancé who adored her. Or so it seemed. Before we delve deeper, kindly subscribe, like and comment your thoughts in the comments section. That fiancé, Mitchell Voss, was the kind of man who turned gold to ash. At 52, he was a real estate mogul turned venture capitalist with a god complex and a taste for controlling younger women. Camille had been warned. Everyone had warned her. But she believed she could handle it. She was wrong. The dinner party was Mitchell's idea, a small gathering at his sprawling glass estate in the hills, overlooking the city he claimed to own. Just 8 guests. All power players. All dangerous in their own subtle ways. Camille knew what the night was really about. Mitchell was making a move, some kind of acquisition. But there was tension behind his smile, something tight in the way his jaw clicked when he thought no one was looking. What she didn't know was that by midnight, someone at that dinner table would be dead. Camille spotted Mitchell speaking in hushed tones to a man she didn't recognize. Slick black hair, icy blue eyes, and a British accent sharp enough to cut glass. He kissed her hand when they met, Julian Ashford, hedge fund royalty, but something in the way he looked at her made her skin crawl. "I've heard so much about you," he said. "Almost as if you're the product Mitchell's actually selling." Camille's smile never cracked. "Careful, Mr. Ashford. You're flirting on a cliff." His eyes lingered just long enough to make her feel like prey. They were seated. Toasts were made. Mitchell raised his glass. "To power," he said. "To control what others think can't be controlled." Camille flinched. Not at the words, but at the possessive squeeze of his hand around her thigh beneath the table. It wasn't just the bruises she'd been covering for weeks now. It was the surveillance. The isolation. The threats whispered sweetly into her hair. "You'd be nothing without me. You leave, and I ruin you. You don't survive this industry without someone like me." But Mitchell didn't know her real secret. Not yet. The dinner stretched on. Laughter got louder. Eyes got sharper. Everyone was circling something unspoken. Camille excused herself to the bathroom and checked her phone. A single message from an encrypted number lit the screen. "He knows. Play it calm. Your window is midnight." Her pulse thundered. It was her friend, and former lover, Delilah Ross, a tech journalist who had been helping her secretly build a case. They had everything now: offshore accounts, NDAs, blackmail, even a string of models whose careers Mitchell had destroyed when they resisted him. Camille wasn't just planning an escape. She was orchestrating a takedown. She returned to the table. Dessert arrived. Red velvet tarts, blood bright against white plates. That's when the screaming began. It wasn't Camille. It was Julian Ashford. He was on the floor, clutching his throat, his face twisted in something between confusion and agony. Then, stillness. People shouted. Phones were whipped out. Someone tried chest compressions. Camille watched it unfold like a scene from a movie, her mind working a mile a minute. This wasn't part of the plan. Mitchell was frozen. For the first time, the man looked rattled. Because this wasn't an accident. This was murder. The detective, a tired-looking man in his 50s named Ramos, was asking questions. So far, nothing made sense. No signs of poisoning in the wine. The food was catered. No visible wounds. Camille sat alone on a patio chair, blanket draped around her shoulders. Mitchell was pacing, talking loudly on the phone with his lawyer. She overheard him mutter, "Get rid of everything. Now. Before they find it." Camille's lips parted. It wasn't just about the murder anymore. It was about what Mitchell had in that house. The detective returned. "Miss DeVere," Ramos said, "mind if we talk inside?" Camille stood, legs trembling slightly. Of course. They entered the study, a sleek, minimalist room with art worth more than most houses. Ramos shut the door. "There's something you should see," he said. He placed a small evidence bag on the glass table. Inside it, a vial. It was tucked inside the lining of Mr. Ashford's jacket. Not his. It had your fingerprints on it. Camille's breath caught. "What are you saying?" she asked. "I'm saying someone's trying very hard to make this look like your fault." She laughed, once, bitterly. "That sounds like Mitchell." But the detective didn't smile. Except he didn't plant it. Camille blinked. "Then who did?" Ramos slid another photo across the table. It was a grainy security cam still, time-stamped an hour before the dinner. It showed someone entering the wine cellar, hooded. Not Mitchell. Not Camille. Delilah. By morning, Camille was no longer the victim. She was the prime suspect. The press was already spinning the narrative: jealous model poisons fiancé's rival in secret love triangle. The perfect scandal. Mitchell said nothing to defend her. He didn't need to. He'd already won. Or so he thought. Because Camille wasn't running anymore. Before being escorted off the estate, Camille turned to Mitchell and whispered just loud enough for the cameras to catch. "Do you remember what you told me the night you broke my arm?" He said nothing. "I do. You said no one would believe me. That you owned the story." She stepped into the police car. "I just gave them a better one." Before we delve deeper, kindly subscribe, like and comment your thoughts in the comments section. The county holding cell smelled like bleach and fear. Camille sat on the steel bench, her wrists sore from the cuffs, her head buzzing from the media storm unfolding outside. Every headline had her name. Model mistress murders billionaire's rival. Camille DeVere, from catwalk to killer. It was all going exactly as Mitchell Voss had planned. Except for one thing. Camille had planted a backup. 2 weeks earlier, Delilah Ross had warned her. "If anything goes sideways," she'd said, passing Camille a lipstick case under the cafe table, "this holds everything: NDAs, wire transfers, abuse claims. It's enough to set the building on fire." Camille had laughed then. Not out of joy, but from disbelief that they were really doing this. That she'd come so far from being just a model in someone else's story. Now, in the solitude of a 6 by 8 foot cell, she replayed that conversation like it was scripture. Meanwhile, across town, Mitchell stood on the terrace of his penthouse suite at the Waldorf Astoria. He sipped aged whiskey like it was victory, watching the city lights flicker beneath him. "She'll fold within the week," he told his lawyer over the phone. "And when she does, I want exclusive rights to the tell-all." He hung up, turned toward the glass doors, and froze. Delilah Ross was sitting on his couch. Wearing black. Holding the lipstick case. "You missed a piece," she said, and tossed it onto the marble table with a dull clink. Mitchell didn't flinch. "What do you want, Delilah?" She smiled. Not sweetly. "I want to know why Julian Ashford is dead." He paused, just long enough to give himself away. Delilah caught it instantly. "Camille didn't do it. And neither did I. So that leaves you. Or someone working for you." Mitchell turned his back to her. "You're out of your depth." "No," Delilah said, rising. "You are. You've spent years building your empire on silence and manipulation. But you made one mistake." He raised an eyebrow. "You taught Camille how to play you." Back at the jail, Camille sat across from Detective Ramos, the evidence bag between them like a ghost. "This doesn't make sense," Ramos said, tapping the photo of Delilah in the wine cellar. "If she was helping you, why was she sneaking around before the murder?" Camille looked him dead in the eye. "Because she knew something was about to go wrong. Julian was never supposed to die." Ramos folded his arms. "You're saying someone else at the table had motive?" "I'm saying everyone at that table had motive," she said. "You just need to look at who gained the most from Julian's death." That night, Camille was released on bail. Not because she was cleared, but because someone had posted the $2 million anonymously. She stepped outside to a hailstorm of flashbulbs. Through the chaos, a black SUV pulled up to the curb. The door opened. Delilah was behind the wheel. "Get in," she said. "We've got a problem." Inside the car, Delilah laid it all out. Julian had been working both sides, Mitchell's investments and a secret whistleblower fund for survivors of Mitchell's past abuse. The night of the murder, he had planned to confront Mitchell during dinner. "He threatened to expose everything," Delilah said. "And then he was dead." Camille stared out the window. "So Mitchell shut him up." "Maybe. But here's the twist." Delilah handed her a flash drive. "This wasn't in the lipstick. I found it hidden in Julian's hotel room, stuffed in the lining of a suitcase." Camille plugged it into her phone. The screen filled with spreadsheets, account names, encrypted memos. Then, photos. NDAs. Signed statements. Bank statements. And one image that made Camille's blood run cold. It was a blurry shot, taken from a security cam, but unmistakable. Mitchell, standing at the mansion's wine cellar. At 11:03 p.m. 25 minutes after Julian had already died. "I don't understand," Camille whispered. "Why go down there after Julian collapsed?" Delilah looked grim. "Because he wasn't looking for wine. He was looking to remove something." Camille shook her head. "He wouldn't be that careless." Delilah didn't answer. Instead, she pulled out a printed still from another camera angle, this one from the guest bedroom hallway. Time-stamped, 10:42 p.m. The image showed Camille and Julian arguing. Julian's hand on her wrist. Camille's face twisted in pain. "Where the hell did this come from?" Camille asked. Delilah hesitated. "That's the problem. This image wasn't part of the police files. It was sent anonymously, to every major news outlet in the city." Camille's chest went cold. They were being framed, again. The next morning, headlines had changed tone. New video shows motive in Sunset Hills murder. Exclusive, Camille DeVere's violent confrontation with Julian. The world had turned against her, again. And Mitchell hadn't even lifted a finger. Delilah and Camille sat in a downtown storage unit later that day, poring over Julian's files. Amid the financial documents, Delilah pulled out something strange, a paper folder with an old letterhead. Trevista Holdings. "Recognize this?" she asked. Camille's eyes widened. "That's Mitchell's shell company. The one he used to pay off girls." Inside the folder was a name, Dana Kessler. And a date, October 2014. Camille whispered, "That's before I even met him." Delilah looked at her. "Whoever Dana is, she vanished. There's no social trace of her anywhere. No death certificate either. Just gone." Camille ran her fingers over the paper. What if she was the first? They were still inside when Camille's phone lit up. "Private number." She answered, cautiously. "Hello." A voice, female, faint, shaking, came through. "I know who killed Julian Ashford." Camille straightened. "Who is this?" But the line went dead. Delilah looked at her. "We need to trace that call. Camille turned the phone to her. We need to find Dana Kessler. Before we delve deeper, kindly subscribe, like and comment your thoughts in the comments section. The name Dana Kessler sat like a ghost on Camille's tongue. It echoed in her mind through the rattle of the subway train, through the echoing halls of the underground records room, and now, into the brittle silence of a dusty foster care file archive in Glendale. October 2014, Delilah whispered beside her. She was 17. No next of kin. No college enrollment. No medical records. Nothing. Camille flipped the page slowly. Dana's intake photo stared back at her, hazel eyes, faint freckles, a tired, angular face. Her features were blurred by poor print quality, but her sadness was vivid. This girl didn't disappear, Camille said. She was erased. Delilah and Camille followed what little digital trail remained, a court-appointed group home, shuttered 2 years ago, a counseling center whose building had burned down in 2016. Every contact listed on Dana's forms was either dead, disconnected, or vanished into private data vaults. She's not hiding, Delilah said, pulling her hoodie up. She's buried. Mitchell made sure of that. No, Camille replied, tapping the last page of the file, where a faded signature barely held on. This one didn't get erased. The name read, Teresa Lorne, RN, Youth Crisis Advocate. They found Teresa in a retirement village near Ventura, a woman in her late 60s with a fierce stare and a limp. She opened the door only halfway. I don't talk to press. I don't talk to lawyers. And I damn sure don't talk to anyone connected to Mitchell Voss. Camille didn't flinch. Then talked to someone who was nearly his next victim. That changed something. Teresa let them in. Her house smelled of old coffee and eucalyptus rub. On the wall was a framed photo of 5 young girls smiling outside a community center. One of them, unmistakably, was Dana. She was smart, Teresa said. Quiet, but watching everything. One day she came in with a new phone, fancy bag, fresh nails. Said she was finally going to make it out. She paused. That was the last time I saw her. Delilah leaned in. You think Mitchell recruited her? I think he bought her, Teresa replied. And when she got scared, tried to pull away, she vanished. The cops didn't investigate. Just like they didn't when another girl went missing 2 months later. And again in 2015. Camille sat forward, her voice hoarse. Did she ever talk about filing a report? Teresa nodded. She said she had a folder. Called it her freedom file. Said if anything happened to her, someone would find it. Delilah and Camille exchanged a glance. Camille stood. Do you know where she might have hidden it? Teresa gave a tight smile. She loved poetry. And she had a favorite hiding spot. They reached the abandoned community center that night, long since condemned and tagged with graffiti. The inside smelled of mildew and stale air, old desks splintered in corners. Camille's flashlight swept over a mural of Maya Angelou on the back wall, faded but still visible. Below it, carved into the drywall in faint pen strokes. Still I rise, DK. Camille dropped to her knees, pulled at the paneling, and there it was. A small rusted tin. Inside, a flash drive. Polaroids. Receipts. Notes scribbled in Dana's writing. Names. Payment logs. A record of meetings. Confidential email printouts. And one video file marked simply, if I die. Camille looked at Delilah. This is the kill switch. Back at their hideout, they watched the video. It was grainy. Dana sat in a dim-lit room, her voice steady but scared. My name is Dana Kessler. I was brought into Mitchell Voss's orbit by a woman named Renee, his fixer. I was promised modeling gigs. Then flown to New York, kept in a private condo. I was abused, monitored, threatened. If you're watching this, something's happened to me. But he doesn't erase everything. Dana's face shook with emotion. He doesn't know I saw the folder in his office. The one labeled Julian. With wire transfer receipts. If Julian's dead, it's Mitchell. The screen cut to black. Delilah exhaled sharply. This is it. But Camille's mind was already racing. Julian was planning to leak Mitchell's files. Camille had only just found out he was helping survivors. But now, with Dana's video, the motive was undeniable. Mitchell didn't just kill Julian to cover up corruption. He killed him to keep Dana erased forever. Camille stood. We need to leak it. Delilah hesitated. Not yet. If we dump this now, Mitchell will bury it in countersuits. We need to tie the files directly to Julian's murder. Camille narrowed her eyes. Then we bait him. Make him panic. Get him to move. The plan was dangerous. Camille would return to Mitchell, under the guise of settling. She would hint that she'd found Julian's missing files. She would offer to sell. Delilah would track any response. And when Mitchell made a move, they'd catch it all. Delilah didn't like it. He's unpredictable. Violent. Camille looked out the window. So am I. The next day, Camille walked into Mitchell's private club in Bel Air, all black silk and high heels. The hostess flinched when she saw her. Mitchell sat alone at the bar, sipping scotch. You have nerve, he said. She smiled. You have secrets. He raised an eyebrow. I know what Julian had. I know where it is. He froze. Camille leaned closer. And I want to talk numbers. That night, back at the safe house, Delilah sat watching her tracker. Mitchell had sent a text from a burner phone to someone labeled Renee. Then the message disappeared. But the phone pinged again, this time from a location in West Hollywood. A private storage facility. Delilah's eyes widened. He's moving the files. Camille returned home just after midnight, exhausted. She stepped into the loft apartment, turned on the lights, and froze. Every drawer was open. The place had been searched. Then she heard it. A low creak. Not behind her. Above her. She looked up. A shadow moved along the loft railing. Before we delve deeper, kindly subscribe, like and comment your thoughts in the comments section. Camille had always been afraid of silence. As a child, it meant her mother had passed out again. As a teen, it meant the man in the hallway had unlocked the door. But this silence, this one, after the shadow passed above her loft, it was worse. Because she wasn't just afraid. She was prepared. She didn't scream. She didn't run. She reached slowly for her phone, flipped the camera, and hit record. That was when Renee stepped down the stairs, cool, composed, and dressed like she never left 2014. All black. Leather gloves. Eyes like a wolf's. You were smarter than I expected, Renee said, her voice soft as suede. But not smart enough. Camille didn't move. He sent you. Renee tilted her head. He doesn't even know I'm here. And just like that, the whole board changed. Mitchell wasn't just a monster. He was a pawn. Renee had always been the one who cleaned the blood, until the blood found her. Camille kept her hand near the counter, near the pepper spray taped under the ledge. Delilah's voice echoed faintly in her head, if she shows up, stall her. I'll be watching. Renee didn't pull a gun. She pulled out a flash drive. You leak anything, she said, this gets uploaded. It names you. Ties you to Julian's blackmail folder. To Dana's disappearance. They'll bury you right beside them. Camille blinked. Then smiled. You brought leverage to a game where you no longer have power. A flash. A red light blinked from the shelf. Delilah was already streaming the whole thing. Renee's voice. Her threats. Her confession. For the first time, Renee hesitated. Then footsteps thundered upstairs. The loft door crashed open. Delilah. Game over, she said, phone raised, live feed rolling, voice cold. Smile for the fall. That same hour, across the city, Mitchell Voss was wheeling a suitcase down into a private storage vault in West Hollywood. He was calm. Not rushed. He thought Camille was bluffing. That she'd break. That money still solved everything. What he didn't know, what he couldn't know, was that an unsealed indictment had already been approved. When the lights flashed. When the voices shouted. When 3 FBI agents surrounded him at gunpoint. He didn't flinch. He just smiled. "Boys," he said, "do you know who I am?" They did. They just didn't care. The morning news broke like a dam. Media mogul Mitchell Voss arrested for federal obstruction, conspiracy, and possession of criminal evidence. Mysterious video surfaces alleging decade-long abuse network. Whistleblower connects Voss to cold cases of missing girls. No one mentioned Camille by name. Not yet. But everyone knew. At the federal courthouse, Camille stood behind tinted glass, watching as Mitchell was led in. Cuffed. Head held high. He scanned the room like he still owned it. Until he saw Renee. She sat 2 rows behind Camille. Not flinching. Not blinking. Not even ashamed. Just watching. Camille didn't look away. This time, she had the power. In the days that followed, the internet did what it does, dissected, speculated, turned tragedy into content. But something remarkable happened too. Other names came forward. Girls. Women. Mothers. Advocates. Whispers from modeling agencies. Interns who remembered hush money. A maid who found a torn dress behind a hotel bed. The shame shifted. The silence cracked. And Camille didn't speak. Not once. Because she didn't have to. Delilah disappeared again. Left a voice memo. No goodbye. I did what I came here to do. Don't look for me. Just, live your life. Camille didn't cry. She'd known all along that Delilah wasn't here for the headlines. She was here for Dana. On a cold Friday afternoon, Camille walked to a quiet park bench near a stone plaque that read, "In memory of Dana Kessler and the lost daughters of the system." She laid 1 white rose. And whispered, "We got him." Weeks later, in a quiet, locked storage room in the back of a courthouse evidence facility, a low-ranking clerk logged an item into the database. Subject, Dana Kessler. A second flash drive. Unopened. Labeled only, for the next girl. And somewhere else, on the other side of the country, a girl no older than Dana once was sits in a train station with a single envelope in her lap. She opens it. Inside, a card. No name. Just a phone number. And a single sentence. "Are you ready to tell your story?" She looks up. The camera pulls back. Her face is calm, but her fingers are trembling. The past isn't finished with her. Not yet. Truth is never buried forever. The end. If this story gripped you, hit that like button, subscribe for more chilling cases, and share your thoughts in the comments.